How's it going, guys? All right, so the goal for today is to come up with two equations, write two equations given a word problem. And again, this is systems of equations. We are not going to solve them. We are going to push that to a later day. Tomorrow, we're actually going to start solving some of these problems. But for starters, we just want you to understand how to read word problems and how to write a system of equations from them. So you're going to notice I have like four different homeworks and I've highlighted questions I really liked. So I think they should cover everything that we need to understand this lesson. So for starters, let's take a look at my number one. So Miss Kit works in a music store. The last week she sold six more than three times the number of CDs she sold this week. And I'm not going to read this all to you. But the first thing you need to do is figure out what are the two things that they are comparing. For example, they have last week, which they're calling L, and then they have this week, T, which is this week. So L is last week, T is this week. So let's try to figure out what we can write from that. All right, so last week, L, she sold six more is plus six, three times the number of CDs this week. Three times more the number of CDs this week. Six more than three times this week. There's our first equation. A little bit tricky, but those are our key words. Six more than three times this week. Okay, second equation. They sold a total of 110 CDs over both weeks. That's last week and this week. So last week plus this week, both weeks together, they sold a total of 110 CDs. There's your two equations. We're not solving it, we're just writing them. Okay, moving on to next problem. What are the two things that we are comparing? Well, I tell you in the very beginning. Sundays are $2, banana splits are $3. Sundays and splits have the same first letter. Not a fan, so I'm going to call my Sundays S for Sundays. And B, I'm going to call for the banana ones, banana splits. So it says she sells $2 for Sundays. So $2 for every Sunday. And banana splits are $3. So plus $3 for every banana split. This is all money, $2, $3, and she made 156 equals 156. Notice all of this equation dealt with money. The other equation is a little tricky. You got to read into it. The shop sold 8 more Sundays than banana splits. 8 more Sundays than banana splits. So Sundays should equal 8 more Sundays than banana splits. So it's banana splits plus 8. How many Sundays did they sell? 8 more than the number of banana splits. That is a little tricky. I'm not going to lie to you. But that is our second equation. Okay. Next one. Number 3. There's a bag containing 35 nickels and quarters. So our two things we're comparing are nickels and quarters. Nickels, which we will call N, makes sense. And Q is going to be quarters. So let's put things together. She has a bag containing 35 nickels and quarters. Well, how do I write that? Well, nickels, the number of nickels I have, plus the number of quarters I have, has to be a total of 35. So there's 35 coins in a bag, so nickels plus my quarters must be 35 coins. The value of these coins is less than $2.50. The value of them. So together, they're worth $2.50. Well, how much is a nickel worth? That's really what it comes down to. A nickel is 5 cents. So 5 cents for every nickel plus 25.25 for every quarter together would total 250. That is your second equation. Again, key things. The total number of items was 35, nickels and quarters together. And the value, kind of like our money sign, well, nickels worth 5 cents, quarters are 25 cents, and there is a total of 250. Okay. Moving on to question number 4, my version of question number 4. All right. Find the value of two numbers if their sum is 12 and their difference is 4. So I'm going to call x the first number, and I'm going to call y the second number. So two numbers, find the value of two numbers if their sum is 12. Sum means add. So x plus y together is equals 12. Their difference is 4. So sum is adding, difference is subtracting, is 4. So first number, second number. The difference of both numbers is 4. The sum of both numbers is 12. That is it. Some of y'all are thinking what the answer is, but another day. All right, moving on to question number 5. Uh-oh. I found 4. I can't find 5. Dun, dun, dun. Found it. That was scary. All right. Question number 5. Two things we have from when we read. She spent money on shirts. Fancy shirts are 28. Plain shirts are 15. There's the two things. Fancy shirts, plain shirts. So I'm going to call fancy shirts F. I'm going to call plain shirts P. Oops. Plain shirts. Okay, so here's my two variables. F will be fancy shirts, P will be plain shirts. Fancy shirts cost 28, plain shirts cost 15. So I already know this is going to say $28 for every fancy shirt plus $15 for every plain shirt. And there is a total, remember this is our money equation. They spent a total of $131. Okay. She bought a total of 7. That's it. All the shirts together totaled 7. So my fancy shirts plus my plain shirts must total 7 shirts in all. There's our two equations. Okay. I just put that here to tell you that this one all dealt with money. 28 for fancy, 15 for plain, and they spent a total of 131. Okay, this question is fun. I love it every year. All right. There's chickens and there's pigs. So C is going to be our chickens. P is going to be our pigs. There's 13 animals in the barn. 13 total. So my chickens plus my pigs equals 13. Here's the fun part. There's 40 legs in all. First of all, I don't know who counts legs instead of animals, but that's a whole nother story. There's 40 legs in all. Well, unfortunately for this problem, you have to be smart enough to understand that the number of chickens and the number of pigs, you have to know how many legs they have. They're not going to tell you, so think really hard. So chickens have how many legs? Well, chickens have 2. So 2 legs for every chicken plus pigs have 4 legs. So 4 legs for every pig would now have a total of 40 legs in all. And we have 2 equations that we can solve. Remember, chickens have 2 legs. Pigs have 4 legs. Fun facts. All right. Not making fun of anybody, but you just got to know that information. Next one, we have a class of 195 students. They took 7 vehicles. Some were cars and some were buses. There's our 2 things. So cars, I'm going to call C. Buses, I'm going to call B. All right. So 7 vehicles total. Well, my cars plus my buses has to total 7 vehicles in all. We also know that each car holds 5 students and a bus holds 45 students. So a car holds 5. So it's 5 for every car plus 45 for every bus. And how many students were there in total? 5 students for that, 45 for that, and the class of 195 students. So this was the total number of vehicles, and this was how many students. 5 for a car, 45 fit in a bus, and 195 went. There's your 2 equations. Okay. 2 more. That's all we got left. All right. Printing company. There's 2 types of printing presses. They already tell you flat out. There's Model A and there's Model B. So X will be Model A. Y is going to be Model B. You always want to define the variable. All right. So Model A can print 70 books a day. So Model A, 70 books every X. And B is 55 per day, plus 55 for every Y. Okay. They own a total of 14 printing presses, so I know that X plus Y has to total 14. Right? Model A's and Model B's together, there's 14 total. And remember, it was 70 books a day. Let me underline it. 70 books a day, 55 books a day, and there was a total of 905. There's our last piece of information we were missing. So this was the number of books a day, and this was the total machines. Okay, hopefully you're seeing a pattern in these word problems. Last one for the day. So they sell handmade forks and spoons. You can take a guess what your 2 letters are. We got forks for F, and spoons we'll call S. All right, so it costs the store. One equation is going to be how much it costs, and another one is how much that it sells. You got to pay really close attention to this one. So it costs the store $1.70 to make a fork. So $1.70 for every fork, and $1.30 to make a spoon. $1.70 for a fork, $1.30 for a spoon. So plus $1.30 for a spoon. Okay. Now they're jumping to some different information. The store sells forks for $5.60. So they sell forks for $5.60 and spoons for $5.40. So all we're missing is the totals on those. Well, they spent $37.90. That's how much it cost them. It cost them $37.90 to make all this stuff. And they sold a total of $147.20. So they sold it for $147.20. That one is a little tricky. You just have to look at the problem early, but realize that they're talking about how much did they sell and how much did they buy. So a little bit tricky, but I think y'all got it. Get the pattern. Try to keep things together. Alrighty, I hope this all helps you out. Remember, we're just writing the equations. We're not solving them. We will start doing that tomorrow. So good luck, guys.